Hi everyone. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of a reset refresh of my IKEA greenhouse cabinet here. The shelves are filthy, as those of you who watched last week's video will have noticed, and it's been definitely over a year since I've cleaned the shelves. Now, I do have beneficial bugs that are on order that will be arriving tomorrow, so I want to get everything nice and cleaned out ahead of that. And then also, I've been talking about how I think I want to reconfigure this cabinet because I do have some anthurium that are getting quite tall. And so I think I need to take one of the shelves out of here. So I think we're going to do that today too and just kind of do some rearranging after we finish cleaning. But I've been trying to decide which shelves I was going to remove. And initially, I wanted to take this top shelf out, but I don't think that's going to, well, work. I'll say work. I could make it work, but I think it's going to be way more complicated to do that than to take the bottom shelf out. And let me show you why. Okay, guys, so here is the top shelf. Now, the issue with removing the shelf is it really screws me up from a standpoint of the lights because this is not the last set of lights. The last set of lights is up there. So if I remove this shelf, I've got to get this to connect up here somewhere. Don't even ask me where. Like, I was trying to trace cords earlier. I don't even know. But I do know that right here, where I have like zip tied up the excess cord, so it's tucked away here, there is a zip tie right here, and that is where the end of this connection is. So if I remove this shelf, I've got to like unzip tie, trace this up to the top lights. Like, it's just going to be a pain in the butt. So we're not going to do that. What we're going to do instead is we're going to remove the bottom shelf because there's only one set of lights on this shelf and they connect right here. And if I unconnect here, I don't have to reconnect this cable to anything. It just turns these two lights off. And so that's all I got to do is unconnect that, take the shelf and take those lights out. So that's going to be way easier. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I hate having to clean this cabinet, you guys. In case you don't know, I have magnets that are holding my lights in place because I heard at the time that I got my IKEA greenhouse cabinet that using the adhesive that comes with lights like this in the cabinet usually doesn't go well because of humidity levels and things like that. The adhesive stops working, then the lights fall on your plants, break leaves. So I decided to do magnets instead. Now, if you're wondering how these magnets work, I hot glued, or no, maybe I super glued. I think I super glued one side of the magnets to the bar light, and that magnet is underneath the shelf. And then this magnet is up on top here. So it's sandwiched, the magnets are sandwiched between, no, let me try this again. The glass is sandwiched between the magnets. So in order to clean the shelf, like I really have to take the magnets off to make it easy. And then the lights hang down and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. The last time I did this, my parents were here. And so I had an extra pair of hands, which helped. And I took the shelves like all the way out into the kitchen to clean. I don't know that I'm gonna do that today. I think I'm gonna try to clean them in place. They're just such a mess. They're such a mess, you guys. And I just feel like it's gonna be hard to get all of this because I have like kind of hard water. And so it's got like hard water stains on there. I just feel like it's gonna be really hard to get these clean, but we're gonna try. If I have to take it into the kitchen, I will. But that is priority number one. So I'm gonna start taking the plants out. We're gonna work our way from the top down to clean the shelves. And then we will go back in and we will do some rearranging. Now, as part of the rearranging, most of the plants in here now are plants that are part of my permanent collection. There are, however, a few that are in inventory to be sold, and I now have room to put them on one of my inventory carts because I did recently sell some more plants. So for example, this Syngonium white butterfly propagation is going to get moved out of here. The little alocasia black velvet over here is going to get moved out of here. The Pederati autumn might get moved out of here. Technically, this is for sale in my plant inventory, but it does prefer the higher humidity and it is a rehab situation. So it might stay in here just for now. But other than that, everything else in here is part of my permanent collection. And I do have some anthurium that we might move back in here that I had recently, or I guess a while back now, had to move out because they just were too tall. But let's get to cleaning first, and then we'll deal with the rearranging. Okay, guys, I think I'm just going to set the plants up on top of the cabinet because I have seen activity, whether it's recent or not so recent. I don't know for sure, but I have seen activity of bad bugs on some of these plants, so I don't really want to go putting them around by other plants. So we're just going to move them up there. And actually, now that I think about it, we're going to have to move these ones as well. So I'll just move these down here, because when I go to take the lights off, the lights are going to fall down and I don't want them to crush the plants. But can we also just take a moment to look at my beautiful dripping, hold on, need a coaster under that. My beautiful Alocasia Frydek that is doing fabulous and has 4 larger sized leaves now. And just a reminder, I did grow this from a corm that one of you guys had sent me, and I am just so happy with how it is doing. I did repot it a few months ago from a 3-inch pot into basically a 4-inch pot. It's a Starbucks cup, but that has really, I think, helped it to take off and put out more leaves. So absolutely loving this plant. Okay, I'm gonna put this down on the bottom shelf for now. All right, so I'm gonna take these magnets off and you will see what I mean about how the lights are just going to hang down annoyingly. So that is the situation with the lights and why this is sometimes a bit of a pain to clean. Also, quick reminder, if you haven't seen the video of when I originally set up my cabinet, these lights are linked in my Amazon storefront, and the link to my Amazon storefront is in the description of every video on this channel. They are super affordable lights. I've had them for almost 5 years now, and they're still working good. So be sure to check those out if you need lights for a cabinet. But I'm gonna vacuum first up here, and then I'm gonna use some glass cleaner and paper towels and see how clean we can get it with that. If it's not working though, I'm gonna have to take the shelves to the kitchen. Actually, guys, I think I'm just gonna use a damp rag to get some of the worst of it off before I go in with the glass cleaner. Oh, look how gross, you guys. So gross. Don't be me. Clean your shelves more frequently. This is so bad, you guys. This is not good, and this will not, I mean, it's not going to help deter pests to have all of this nastiness on your shelves. So always a good idea to try to clean more frequently than I have a tendency to do, for sure. So I'm super happy we're doing this today. I mean, it already just looks so much better just after doing this. So I think the good news is I don't think I'm gonna have to take them into the kitchen. It looks like it's coming up pretty easily. So just in case anybody is curious, this is the glass cleaner that I am using, not your standard Windex, but I find that this does a better job on my windows, which is why I originally bought it. So I feel like it's probably gonna do a better job in here too, but I'm also gonna clean the sides as well because I can see dusty ickiness on there too. And I was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to spray this direct in here because I don't want to get on any of the plants, but I think we got all the plants far enough down. It's probably not a problem, though I did just get some on the lights, but whatever. And it's always a little bit tricky to do these sides just because the light cables are kind of in the way, but doing my best, you guys. And all of that kind of dusty stuff I mentioned I had seen on the shelves in the last video, I can see it, especially on the black parts on the walls here too. I don't know what that is. Maybe dead beneficial bugs? Could be. Possible. Who really knows? It's so funny the things you see when you're cleaning too, because I can see one of my hairs back there on the other outside part of the cabinet. Like, how did that get there? For real. I also feel like I should have brought the step stool out because I'm a little bit short, which, come to find out, a lot of you who have met me in person thought I was going to be taller. I'm short, you guys. I'm only 5'1.5", but I have really long arms and really long legs, and I think that's why a lot of people think that I'm actually taller than I am. Okay, on to the shelf part. My only concern is, can I get these rings, these water rings off without having to take this out of here and like soak it in the kitchen? And I am going to wipe the underneath part of the shelf as well, just because I'm sure I've bumped it with my hands a couple of times, and just seeing what's on the walls, I'm sure there's stuff underneath here too. All right, I think I'm gonna need a little bit more. I'm just gonna spray some on the paper towel. I need to scrub a little bit more on these rings that I knew were gonna be the hardest part to get off of here. And after I cleaned these the last time, I told myself I was gonna make sure everything was in a cover pot or on a coaster so I didn't have to deal with this again. And then, did I do that? No, I did not. And they are really on there. Especially on this side. I need another paper towel. You know, I guess the real question is, how OCD do I want to be with this? I mean, it's not that bad. At least you can't tell as much on this top shelf, or at least I can't because I'm short. But I mean, it definitely looks way better. I don't know, I might just do that for now. I really don't want to have to take these out, especially without having any additional help. But I am going to find coasters to put under everything that needs it. Now, this plant has little, or this pot has little felt feet, so it's fine as it is. And this plant isn't even in a cover pot, but it has a little tray there, so it's okay as is. This one is a problem because it has a stopper, and so water can leak and has leaked out from under this. So I'm going to go grab a coaster real quick. Okay, and I find that for these little, I think these are the 4-inch ones. Once again, these are also in my Amazon storefront, and the link for that, again, is in the description of every video. These 4-inch ones are perfect for these particular pots. So we're just gonna put that under there. Alrighty, so then I just need to get the lights put back up, which honestly, I probably should have done that before I put the plants back in there, but oh well. I can reach around, I think, mostly. But these magnets, seriously, just are so much easier in terms of installing lights than other options that I've seen, at least in my personal opinion. And if you don't like exactly where you have the light position, it's a lot easier to move them using the magnets. Okay, I think that shelf is good. So now I'm just going to move the plants from the shelf down here up to the top so we can take the lights off of this shelf. And I do need to remove some dead leaves off of this particular plant, so we might do that too. And I'm just going to go ahead, actually, since I said we were going to take this one completely out of here, and move it onto one of my inventory carts. Same thing with this one. Okay, so now we're just going to get these lights off. Whoop. And sometimes they just fall like that. It's okay. All right, vacuuming first. All right, now we're gonna see if we can get the worst of this off first with the cloth. It's just so gross, you guys. It's so gross. I'm probably gonna have to get another cloth for the last two shelves. Actually, well, no, yeah, we just have two more. Well, we have one more shelf and then the very bottom part of the cabinet to clean. It looks like it's coming up so easily when I use the rag. Like, I guess because it's just like an instant improvement, but then it's not really getting rid of the rings, as it were. I'm surprised we don't have any kitties interrupting us because Theo had a serious case of the zoomies right before I started cleaning. So I figured he was going to be all up in our business, but I guess he wore himself out and decided to go take a nap somewhere. Speaking of cats, there is a ton of cat fur on this particular shelf. Okay. Glass cleaner time. So I am curious, how often do you guys clean your plant cabinets and plant shelves? Comment down below and let me know. I feel like a lot of people do it in the spring as part of their spring cleaning, but we really need to be doing it more than once a year. At least a fall cleaning and a spring cleaning. At the very minimum. Once again, don't be me and go over a year. It also just makes it harder to clean, right? The more frequently you clean something, the easier it is to get it clean. But also just finding the time to take care of things sometimes is difficult. Wow, this side over here is really dirty for some reason. I'm not really sure how that happened. Is that on the outside? Hold on. It is on the outside. Oh no, part of it's on the outside. Apparently I need to clean the outside too. But no, I don't know. There's something funky right there that's just not coming off. Oh well. I need another paper towel again. Good thing I brought the whole roll in here with me. So while I'm doing this, in case any of you are curious, I did not end up making it to the Texas Airways show last weekend. I really wanted to. I thought I had found a cat sitter, and then some unfortunate things happened, and I decided it just wasn't going to work. But I did see a lot of people's content from there, including Richie from Grow Folds, and everybody looked like they were having a blast, and so I'm really upset that I missed out, but it is what it is. I don't know, you guys. I'm not going to be able to make it to every show. I honestly don't know how some of the plant influencers can like afford to go to every show when it's not someone else paying for them to go. And I know a lot of these people don't have like, I mean, I know most of them have like day jobs, if you will, but I know they're not necessarily making a huge amount of money. So going to like every single plant show, like that gets pretty pricey in terms of flights, transportation after the flights, paying for parking while you're gone, dealing with a hotel or Airbnb or whatever you're doing. I mean, it's just expensive. Like, I can't even imagine. And then on top of that, like, I have to pay for a cat sitter. So it's kind of even more difficult for me. So that's why I don't go to a lot of shows that are outside of my area. And obviously, Houston's not massively outside of my area, but still, just like I said, things just didn't align this time. And a few years ago, that show was done here in Dallas, which was fabulous. Okay. I think I'm noticing the rings a little bit more on the shelf because I can actually look down on it. But I still think I'm going to try not to be super OCD, and I'm just going to do the best I can and not have to take it into the kitchen to like soak in the sink. I feel like that shelf was a little bit worse than the shelf that we just did, but oh well. Let's get these lights put back up. Do things in the logical order this time, instead of putting the plants in first. All right. And like I said, we're going to rearrange all of this. Ooh, man, apparently I need to dust the top of the cabinet. A bunch of dust just fell down when I grabbed this. But anyways, we're going to rearrange all of the plants and what shelves are on everything here eventually. So I'm just going to set them in here for now. And I need to find a tray or something to set the Pederadiatum on. We'll just set it on this coaster for now. Okay, we're getting there slowly but surely. Let's move all of these plants from the bottom up to the top. And I didn't take the coaster with that. So now I probably have a wetness up there. I need to get a coaster for this one. Okay. And I'm not sure if these are all going to fit up there. Okay, some are just going to go on the floor. Okay, all right. Last set of lights we have to remove, and since you guys were planning on taking this shelf out anyway, I might as well just go ahead and put it in the kitchen and clean it in the kitchen because it's not going to go back in here. So I'm just going to get the magnets resecured to their counterparts on these lights. And then I'm going to unplug these lights. And like I said, the rest of our lights should still work. Yep. All right, I'm going to have to lift this up anyway. Okay, I'm going to vacuum this first and give it an initial wipe down because I'm going to have to take this out because this won't fit down the side there. And I did end up getting a new rag because the other one was so gross. I swear each level we go down, it looks worse. So much worse than the last one. I'm going to feel so much better after this is all done. I just know it. It's going to be a good pick-me-up because this is the first really cold day we have had this year. And my seasonal depression was already starting to kick in. And the cold weather just makes it worse. So at least this will be something off of my to-do list and something that will make me very happy when I am looking at it while sitting working at my desk. Okay, let me see if I can get this out of here. And now we can get, the light magnetized itself to the side. All right, lights are out. So that just leaves this really messy looking bottom, and I really hope that's not actually rust, but I think it might be. Not going to be happy if that's the case, but vacuum first. I feel like if that's rust, then that would mean that something had scratched the bottom of this at some point. And I think I've been pretty good about not putting like pots that are rough that don't have like felt stoppers, not stoppers, well, is that what they're called? Like the felt feet on the bottom of them. So I'm not sure how anything would have gotten scratched to the point of being able to rust. So hopefully that's not what that is. Okay, good news. That's not what that was. That must have just been like dirt, which there's a lot of down here. Okay. And yes, I know the bottom of this isn't glass, but I think I can use this glass cleaner on it and it should be okay, hopefully. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. There's something else weird that I don't know if it's on this side or the outside on that wall. I don't know what that is, like a brown streak. Seems to be outside. So what else do I have to tell you guys? In other news, my family is coming up here for Thanksgiving in a few weeks, which will be the first time my sister has been up here since my niece was born a little over 3 years ago. And it will be her first time meeting Theo, George, and Scooter. So super excited for that. I'm super excited for my niece to meet the cats as well, because my sister does not currently have any pets. She did, unfortunately, have her last cat pass away while she was pregnant with my niece, and obviously having a new baby and grieving for your last pet, getting a new pet is not really what's on your mind at that point. So that is the primary reason that they did not get another pet and still haven't gotten one yet. And then also I think they want to get a dog, because we grew up with cats and dogs, you guys. Cats are just easier with my lifestyle when I first got pets as an adult than a dog was. And so that's why I've had cats, although now not the easiest because of the fact that Theo is such a food driven, I mean, he's like a dog when it comes to food, and it just poses a problem. And that problem primarily is that I can't feed them in the same rooms. I have to put everybody in a different room to eat, because if I don't, Theo will bully the other cats out of their bowls while defending his food bowl, and he will eat all the food for all three cats by himself. And so I know a lot of people are probably like, well, why do you need a cat sitter if you're just going to Houston for a few days, just put extra food out? I can't, because George and Scooter won't get to eat. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you, Theo would eat all the food right as soon as I put it out. Like, he would not leave any for the rest of that day or the next day or the next day. So unfortunately, with these cats, I can't do that. With my last cats, I could do that. It was not a problem at all. I just put food out in the morning, food out in the evening, enough for all three, and they regulated it themselves. But Theo's crazy, you guys, and he is absolutely crazy. So I cannot do that anymore. And it's also very complicated, actually, for a cat sitter too, because Scooter still grazes. So he doesn't eat all of his food at once, and then I have to take it up so that Theo doesn't eat it. And then periodically throughout the day, Scooter just comes and meows, and I know he wants more food, so I go put his food back down for him. And I mean, that happens, like, I can't even tell you how many times a day, you guys. So it's not an easy situation. Like, I can't even just have somebody come over and feed them in the morning and feed them at night. I have to have somebody actually stay here with them. All because of Theo. Okay, that looks mostly better. There's still some weird, like, whatever. I should really get like a, what do you call that? You know, the stuff you use to line your cabinets, that you put in your cabinets to protect them from water and stuff. I should really put that down here on the bottom, but as long as I make sure that everybody has a coaster and everything moving forward, we should be okay with this. So let me back you guys out a bit, and we're gonna figure out how we're gonna style and arrange the plants in here now. Oh, but real quick before I back you guys out, I do have these acrylic risers that I got from the Container Store. I used these primarily for my plant pop-up shop so I can better arrange the plants on the table when I'm selling them. So I think this will really help though to get more plants in this bottom section, and also just to not have their leaves all crushing into one another. So I think we're going to use these and put some plants on these in the back, which I probably need to actually pull these forward somewhere. Maybe we can, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let me zoom y'all out. Okay, I kind of feel like this is going to be a little bit tricky to film. I mean, you're probably going to be seeing a lot of the backside of my head, so my apologies, but we're going to do our best. So let me grab the plants that I know for sure. Where did that plant go? Oh, it's all the way on top in the back. I'm going to grab the plant I know for sure has to go down here, and then some of the other ones that I think we should just go ahead and put down here, and we're just going to start kind of playing around and arranging things and see what we can do. Okay, so first up is the Anthurium David Portilla Dreams, because this leaf used to stick straight up, but it was too tall, so it kind of ducked down. This one's going to start to duck down. It's not fully hardened off yet, but the taller and bigger it gets, it's going to be a problem. So this definitely needs to go down here. Now, I did not have this in a cover pot because I didn't really have one. This one's not even really great for this. Do I have... Let me go check my cover pot stash real quick, you guys. Okay, apparently I need to go cover pot shopping, you guys. But this is the only one I have that circumference-wise it will fit in. It's a little bit too tall. This is an awesome wooden pot. If you guys are not familiar, I get most of my cover pots nowadays, I'll say most of my cover pots from a store called At Home in my area. Absolutely love it. I've done a plant styling video where I took you guys shopping with me at Home. I'll link that down. Let's try this again. I'll place the link to that video down in the description for you guys. But I got this for really cheap from there. I have a couple of other slightly larger ones of these, but they're already being used by some of my other plants. But absolutely love this. Now, the only downside to this is it is actually wood inside. So ideally, I should really line this with plastic. I don't really want to take the time to right now. So alternatively, what you can do is you can put a drip tray in the bottom of this, which is what I did for my orbifolia in my kitchen because it's in a larger version of this. Or for right now, we're just going to put a coaster down in the bottom of it, which will help because I just don't want the wood getting messed up. And if you get enough water in there, it'll soak through the wood onto your furniture or whatever else you have the plant sitting on. So that's what we're going to use for that. I am just going to see, this is going to be one of the ones that's going to get like the biggest. So I see, this is where I'm torn because I feel like because it's probably going to get the tallest, it should not be on the risers, but then it's also so big. It's like, I don't want to put smaller plants on the risers. Does that make sense? Like, it's not going to work out. So I feel like this one has to be on a riser. I mean, it's still got a lot of room to go, but eventually what might have to happen is that this one is on the bottom here in a corner, and then we figure something else out all around it. Maybe there's only one riser in that scenario. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really have a plan for this. We're just going to play around and see what works. That's basically what I do when I plant style. Like, I kind of look and I'm like, well, maybe I could do this. How am I going to do that? You know, I have these semi ideas, but until I put them in place, sometimes it works. Sometimes I'm like, nah, that didn't really work. So we're just going to keep messing around. Now, this plant is going to need to be elevated. In case you guys didn't notice, it's up there, but hold on. Candle holder from At Home, excellent way to elevate your plants. I did previously have this on a square pot. If you didn't notice when I took it out of the cabinet, not the best idea. It was smaller than this pot. This would be the better idea, but until recently, this was being used by another plant. But this needs to be elevated because this is a long-leafed anthurium, and so it's gotten to the point where if I just leave this sitting flat, these leaves, as they come out and get long, start to hit the ground. So we definitely want to elevate this one. So I don't know if we're going to put it here because it could still go on this, I think, on one of the other shelves. So I think we're going to save that for the other shelves. Oh, it's putting out a new leaf. I just noticed. You see that? I love this plant. And I'm going to get my snips and we're going to remove these two crummy older leaves over here. But all right, set that one aside for now to just kind of look at what we have. Okay, I want to put the fry deck down here for sure. So let me grab that. Okay, so this was already getting tall enough that it's getting really close to the lights, and fry decks actually do get pretty tall, you guys. So we're definitely going to put this one down here. We might just have it down on the bottom somewhere because this is good because we can see now these leaves and these leaves. So that's kind of what I'm trying to achieve with the risers, but also I want to make sure whatever I put on the risers isn't going to get like too close to the lights. However, this plant was previously like this close to the lights and it's not like burned or anything. That's another really nice thing about these lights, you guys. I've never had any problem with any of my plants getting like burned by them because they got too close to them. I mean, the Petaradiatum was practically kissing it and it's not burned. So you really don't have to worry about that with these lights. Speaking of the Petaradiatum, are we going to leave it in here or not is the question. It just really likes the humidity. I don't know. I also semi have thought about keeping it, you guys, and putting it in my permanent collection. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We might just keep it in here for now. I don't know. How many times can I say I don't know? Let's see, cover pots. Have this that we could put this in if we leave it in here, but we'll see. I'm not sure about that one yet. All right, I'm just gonna start coming in and out of frame, you guys, and like I said, testing things out. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put my original silver blush back in here. I had taken it out because it was starting to look really kind of chlorotic, and I thought that that might have to do with the fact that it was pretty close to the lights, but it really hasn't improved that much since I put it next to a window. So I think that might be more of a nutritional issue, and I need to just do a better job of feeding this plant. But all in all, I mean, it's still done okay in ambient too. But since some of the other ones won't fit in here, I think we're going to put it back in here. And obviously it doesn't fit in this cover pot, but whatever. And I don't know if we're going to elevate it or not. I do need to remove some of these leaves that are going awry. Let me go grab my snips. Okay, I'm just going to cut this one leaf that is for sure dying off. The other one honestly is not looking that great either. I might remove it too just because it's taken up some space. But before I forget, let me get the leaves off of this one that are looking like crap. It's just a shame that that leaf is just hanging out all kinds of awkward there. I don't even know, you guys. I don't even know. Maybe if we turn it, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe we need to angle our risers so that the leaves are going this way and we have more room. I think that's actually going to work a whole lot better. This leaf is just crazy. I'm hoping though now that it's not as close to the top that this leaf maybe will start to point more upright like it used to, and it won't be taking up as much space because it used to be perfectly upright like this, you guys, until I put it in the cabinet and then it was bumping into the lights. But now we've resolved that issue, right? So I think this will hopefully work. I mean, we could just do these three down here. I mean, it's kind of a nice arrangement, right? Looks good. I mean, theoretically, I could go get, because this is really far from the lights, although they're going to get taller. I was going to say I could go get some taller risers, but this leaf's going to get taller, and I think this is probably okay. I mean, it would be nice if they were maybe like just a few inches taller, but I don't know, I think it'll do for now. Let's see what we can do on the other shelves, and then we'll see if I decide we're definitely gonna stick with this down here. I mean, we could put some other little plants down here on the sides too, which we might, but this is kind of nice. So let's move on to the other shelves. Okay, guys, excuse the awkward angle for a second. So I was thinking I was gonna leave these 3 plants up here, and then for some reason when I was looking at the distance between the top of the cabinet and this shelf, and this shelf, and the shelf below, it looked like the distance between this shelf and the shelf below was greater, but it's actually greater from the ceiling of the cabinet to the top shelf. So I was measuring this. This is 15 and a quarter, and then in between the other two is only 14 and a half. So that tells me I need to make sure the taller plants are up on this shelf, and I think those are the tallest that I have right now, other than that Petaradiatum, which I don't know if we're going to keep in here or not. Hello, Scooter. Let's not play with the plants, sir. I know. Look, there's leaves I cut off. You don't need to eat them. Hold on, you guys. Scooter is all up in the mess on the floor that he shouldn't be in, so I'm going to put him out the office for now. Okay, so the only issue here, though, now is the plant that we need to elevate with the long leaves. Maybe it should go up here just because this is narrower. I don't know. Let me tilt you down and let's play around on this shelf first. Okay. I mean, it's not like crazy close to the lights. It's definitely closer than it was before, but I don't think that's bad. It's not like super close. I mean, yeah, it's a little closer than the plants on the shelf above it, but it's not bad. I'm gonna move this one out of here for now. Okay, I think I might put my Anthurium Bessier AFF by Pink Lemonade by Carla that is rehabbing in leca here on this shelf. This plant does have a tendency to kind of hang its leaves low, so I don't really have to worry about it getting too high and hitting this. This is the one downside to these lights, is I don't really have a really good way to keep these up. I did try to use magnets at one point around the cords, but because they're cylindrical cords, it really didn't go very well. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know for that. But I think we might just put this one here. And I think what we're going to do for now, this technically is going to get sold at some point as part of my plant inventory, because this is the same plant as one of the ones that is on the top shelf, but I'm trying to get it to put out some better leaves, which is why I have it in the cabinet before I sell it. I wish these leaves weren't so sprawled. These Anthurium, they're so hard to deal with, you guys. I don't know. All right, maybe like that. And then we'll just have this one in here until it starts to look better. Hanging out on this shelf for now. I just don't even know, you guys. Technically, we've got 1, 2, 3 more plants for sure to put in here, and then we have that Petaradiatum. And some of these just aren't, I mean, like this little one right here that is looking like crap, this seedling Anthurium. I think I'm going to try this in leca because it's just driving me absolutely up the freaking wall. But I need to order a smaller leca self-watering pot situation. But this is just a tiny little plant. It's just going to look kind of awkward just stuck in here in general. But I think we're just going to have to deal with that. So I'm going to create, because clusters of 3s, clusters of odd numbered things go better together. This plant is so, the leaves are so awkward. I don't even know. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a cluster of 3 there. And ideally, I would love if this was a different cover pot for this. But since this is just a temporary situation, I'm just not going to worry about it. Maybe I don't know. See, this is why I constantly am changing my mind when I restyle, you guys. Maybe I would rather put this guy in here. I wish the leaf was pointing this way, like, maybe we need to change the corners. This is like, I wish Photoshop was like available in real life so I could be like, just flip the image, right? To get it to be the way you want it to be, but that's not how this works. So what I think we're going to do, although I don't want to move this one over here because of this hanging down naturally. Okay, maybe then I do need to put, maybe I need to do what I'm trying to do here on the top shelf. I think that's what we're going to have to do, because the top shelf, the part of the light that's hanging down is on that side. So sorry, you guys, I have to deal with my like ADD insanity here, but it is what it is. Let me move this here for a second. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to move everybody that's on that top shelf down to here. Ooh, you need to be watered for sure. And this plant here is still on my purge list, so eventually it might not be in my collection, although it did give me a beautiful new leaf finally, and it's putting out another beautiful new leaf, so it's trying to win me back. It's kind of working, not gonna lie. Man, I've got to go get some more cover pots, because this guy's not in a cover pot. All right, let's turn you so your leaves face forward. Now this is the other problem. This thing is just sprawling to the point of taking up so much space. All right, let's just deal with the top shelf real quick and we'll come back to this. Okay, so let's try what we were trying. How is there already crap on the shelf? Okay, let's try what we were trying down below. Which way did I have this? I think I had it. I had the little leaf in the back. Yes, no, maybe so, maybe not. Okay, then put this one over here and try to make sure it's not hitting the magnet back there. Our little guy here. I really don't remember exactly how I had this turned on that other shelf. Maybe it was like that. And then I was thinking we put this guy up here with this little grouping. And we've got room to move it over some. Man, I just really wish this one wasn't sprawling so much. Ugh. But now I'm back to, I need this leaf to point this way. No, I don't know, you guys. I'm so indecisive about this stuff. I mean, it almost needs to be even higher, or this needs to be in a lower pot situation. There we go. Not that I like this blue pot with this combination, but that is lower. So that works better. I still wish the back one was a little bit higher, but I don't think I have the means to make that happen at the moment. I'm also not totally digging having the Carla up here. Maybe we just put you back up here. I think that might be what we do. And then I think I'm gonna go shop eventually for a cover pot for that one. Since this one's gonna get sold eventually, And a cover pot's going to take up a bunch of space for it that I don't need taking up. We're just going to do this for this one for now. This is not like my most ideal situation set up here, but I'll figure it out eventually. So now coming back down here, we've got these two in here, which I'm cool with. I wish this Carla wasn't so stinking in such a big pot. This is the only size like self-watering pot I had. So that's just how that's going to be. And then we have one other plant that needs to go in here. I think the Petaradiatum is just not going in here. The only other plant that needs to go in here is also one that I've been rehabbing that I am happy to announce is finally putting out a new leaf that looks like it's getting a little bit stuck. But this is my Luxuriance by Long Bullet Pap. Hopefully you can see new leaf finally coming. It is in moss. My plan is to transition this to leca, but once again, I don't want to have to put it in a giant pot like that and have it taking up a ton of space in here. It's just annoying, you guys. So I'm not sure where I'm going to put this one in here right now. I mean, I think ideally what I will probably do is leave this shelf like this. It's not that bad. And because this plant does tend to keep its leaves at this level, it kind of works because the other plants are a little bit taller. So I think we can do that. And then I think, let me pull you back up to the top shelf. And then I think what I'm going to end up doing up here, well, first of all, I'm going to get a better cover pot for this because this is not in a pot that's that big. If this cover pot was closer to that circumference, it wouldn't be taking up as much space. But I think what I'm going to do, since this one's going to eventually get sold and go bye-bye, is that once I get this put into leca, it will hang out right about there. And that will kind of complete that situation. And I think that's just what I'm going to do. Okay, guys, sorry if that was a little bit indecisive, but once again, I just wasn't sure once I got the shelf out how everything was going to play out. If I do end up changing any of this for some reason before I release this video, I will splice in some footage and let you know. If you're not seeing any additional footage right now, then that means I haven't changed anything yet. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed coming along today. Hopefully this has inspired you to do a little bit of fall cleaning yourself. If so, please be sure to click that like and or subscribe button down below. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Aloha!